we're trying to get a full picture here, Steve. We're trying to get, who's this guy, anyway. So, but this is what turned you on. This is what you enjoyed. I mean, I think it's great. It worked out okay, everybody. It worked out just fine. Okay, so there you would be doing that. Now, this comes under the heading for any young people in the room, or those of you with children or grandchildren, of don't try this at home. You didn't graduate, right?
No, it was the so it was the final semester that I was there, and then at the time I already took all the sort of classes that I was interested in. So a lot of the computer science, the math, the sciences, and then I was never good at physics, and I had physics 112, 113, 114 remaining in that last semester, and somehow I put it off, so I had to take all of them at the same semester. And so that was sort of, on one hand, that was one choice I could have made to stick around, and the other choice was actually two fellow students from IMSA, as well as Max, who was another graduate from U of I. They had moved out to Palo Alto in California, and they started PayPal at the time, and they were trying to recruit people to help start the company. And that was when I remember having this sort of ICQ conversation with Max one night, and then sort of 5 days later ended up finding myself outside of SFO, and working for PayPal. So I still think I've always, I mean, I know the toughest challenge was getting my parents to be okay with that decision, and still, I mean, with every phone call, it's still, when are you going to return back to Champaign, Urbana?
So you got to PayPal, and I want to ask, is there a way you can say what you did there that I might understand?
Well, I think it was just a very big cultural shock compared to what we were doing back at U of I, because I think it really took the stuff that we were doing already from part of sort of our extracurricular activities, to doing stuff that we were doing on our own, this exploration, but now this was part of work. And so I think aligning both the personal interest with what your profession is, everybody that I remember flying in on a Sunday night, a Sunday afternoon, and the office was packed full of people, and they were all still working. It was just a very different environment compared to most of the companies that I had either interned with or worked at before in Illinois. And so that was the big thing, was just being able to work very closely with like-minded people and with people that were really driven. But I think just being a startup at the time was really just trying to play jack of all trades, just to keep the site running, and we were doing many different functions that were probably outside of the pure definition of what say a software engineer would do.
Were you still at PayPal when you had the dinner party after which you did the uploading?
Yeah.
So you were still working at PayPal at that point. You were at PayPal for what? How many years?
99, 7 years.
7 years
Yeah.
at PayPal.
It was funny. It's the last project I had done at PayPal. I mean, there was sort of a lot of soul searching about whether to leave PayPal, but the last project I did there was launching the China project for PayPal. So at the time, eBay had purchased an auction company there, and they were trying to bring PayPal into China, and just sort of going through. I mean, that was probably one of the roughest sort of international localization efforts ever done from PayPal, because just there's not a big credit card network in China, or virtually non-existent. People paying, the banks don't talk to each other without a central ACH clearinghouse, and so I think that was a lot of the effort. But after we ended up launching PayPal China, and then there were a few other projects, but it also seemed like that was the biggest thing that I wanted to really do remaining at PayPal, and that was one of the reasons that compelled me to want to leave, just to think about doing something else.
Ready to move on.
Yeah.
Well, you were talking about credit cards. When you started YouTube, it was on your credit card, is that correct?
Yeah, it was rough. And I remember that there's another co-founder. We always talked about, swapping the credit cards, but somebody else was supposed to pay after the first month, but we never got around to it. So, so I mean, it was a really rough time for a while, and I think that's. If you're looking for motivation, I think the best motivation is buy a new place and move to start a new company and just pay off the entire company with your own credit card. It keeps, it's a thing that motivates us to work 80, 90 hours a week without problem.
So all right, you started this, you're maxing out your credit card, although not entirely, obviously. What were your biggest challenges with YouTube? First of all, who came up with the name?
Chad did.
Your partner.
And he came up with the logo, which I wasn't so convinced about the name, but when I saw the logo, and we actually, it's funny, we have a few videos from on the site actually about the day that we came up with the name, and you saw sort of Chad drawing. There was a list of names on the left side, and he ended up drawing the YouTube logo, and then there was this sort of aha moment that said, okay, that's it. That's the logo, and that's the name we're going with.
So he came up with the name and the logo, and you came up with the credit card, and off you went. What were your initial challenges, business challenges, as well as consumer challenges?
Well, I think it was technical at first, which is just, is this possible to do? Is this going to be cost effective? We know that video is going to be very expensive. Can we can we do this in a way that we can scale it? And there was also just whether or not it was possible to actually make this a easy experience for consumers, both from just taking all the different pieces of the technologies that were out there and trying to combine them and glue them together. So I think that was really the first one, and I think after we sort of finished building the product, we're talking about launching it, it was just really, okay, now how do you get people to recognize the service? How do you use it? How do you actually get that sort of viral nature of the product to start spreading? And I think one thing that we did early on was use these, allow people to take the videos and embed them anywhere. So so anytime you see sort of a YouTube video playing on either MySpace, on eBay, on LiveJournal, different sites out there that allow these embeds, I think that was the biggest sort of free marketing, viral marketing that we could have done, which is just allow these people to place these things on sites that they own, and then in turn people would be driven back to YouTube to watch additional videos, and maybe they in turn can also take the same embeddable video players and put it on some site that they own.
So it was free advertising, free promotion for you?
Well, there was a big bandwidth cost to it, but other than that, yeah.
So you were paying for bandwidth. You were paying what other kind of, what was the credit card paying for?
Bandwidth.
What were your bandwidth was
Yeah.
the big expense? Okay. You made a conscious decision early on, or as it started to grow, not to have advertising.
Yeah, actually, we looked at looking at the other sites out there, we saw that even with sites that did allow videos, they would have these 15-second pre-rolls or post-rolls, and so to just be able to watch the 30 seconds of content that you're really interested in, you had to watch through 15 seconds of advertising, and most of the time it was just not even relevant advertising. And so we always thought that if we really wanted to make this a successful product, I think we have to merge together both from the user's perspective as well as the content provider, the people that are providing the content, and then the advertisers, sort of create some kind of ecosystem in which all three of these guys can be happy. And we just, the reason why we refrained from doing it early on was that we always thought that if we added any advertising into the videos, it was going to detract from the user experience.
Was there ever a point where the financial burden was so great that you almost shifted over, that you really wanted those ads and you wanted that revenue?
Well, there were two periods. One of them was, with the credit card debt, was sort of every month asking for a raise on the credit card ceiling limit, and then near the end there, right before Sequoia invested, I was paying off that credit card multiple times throughout the month, and then once the Sequoia money came in, I thought, we were saved for a while, but at the same time, the growth kept growing, and so the growth of the company, when we reached about 3 million video views a day by the end of December 2005, so in the period from May to December, and at that time, it was supposed to be already the top-ranked video site on the internet in terms of distribution. I thought we were done, and it just kept growing in 2006, and in 2006 we went from 3 million to over 100 million video views, and that was when not just my credit card wasn't enough, but Sequoia's funding wasn't enough.